Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of For All the Lonely Souls. My name is Erica, and today's episode is about better understanding yourself so that you can get back to yourself the best way and then provide that for everyone that you come in contact to. I found these 4 reflective questions in a book called Presence, Bringing Your Boldest Self to Your Biggest Challenges by Amy Cuddy. I am not finished with this book yet. It's really, really, really empowering and reflective. So it's taking me quite a while to read, decompress, analyze, see how it applies to my life, and then really apply it. So I'm using this book in a different sense. I'm going to take my time with it. So stay tuned. I'll definitely share it on an upcoming podcast episode. But these 4 general questions, I wrote them down in my notebook because they definitely hit home for me with trying to figure out what is the best way to understand yourself if you're like, I don't even know where to start. I feel really lost right now. I don't know what direction to turn towards. I don't really know if I like my job, or I don't know if I really want this next chapter of my life to become this or be this way, or I'm going through stuff and I don't know what's going to come next. That uncertainty, when you feel that way, how you can take that to figure out what you really need in that moment, because everything is a moment-to-moment basis, and we change our minds, we adapt to different settings and situations, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're humans. We're really good at doing it. So if you're not comfortable in a certain part of your life, then these 4 questions are for you. So the first question, I actually put it on Talk Life and on Twitter about what 3 words best describe you as an individual. I think that those are 3 really powerful words that'll give you a general idea of how your mentality is. Here's what I mean. Regardless of what 3 words you choose, the words, they matter, but the direction of the words matter. Are the words you're choosing that to describe yourself positive words or negative words? Are they uplifting you to the next part of your life, or are they diminishing you from where you are right now? That's the biggest gateway with that first question. So I'd figure that out for yourself. And you can always write this down. Like, you can keep these quotes for yourself, and you can go back to them, every month or every couple weeks or every 6 months, whatever works for you, and just kind of see how your mentality transitions. It's not like hey, I'm going to be positive today and then tomorrow some shit happens and then you're negative. It's being consistent and realizing the positive even when the negative feels like it's pulling you down. There's always that positive in the other direction. And once you start to just continually pump that positive language into your head, it is just internal and it becomes that way. But everyone's growth takes time. I'm not going to say 21 days. It's going to be a habit. Like, everyone is different. Everyone adapts differently. Sometimes it takes 60 days. Sometimes it takes 20 years. Sometimes it takes one person who you have never even met yet, but to say one thing where it just clicks in your head. It could be a billion different things. We're all different, but think about the language you spread to yourself and to others, of course, but the language that you use with yourself to describe who you are, figure out if they lean more towards the negative or positive. The next question that Amy references in this book is, what is unique about you that leads you to your happiest times and best performance? So what makes you happiest in life where you know that you're doing the best job that you possibly can? Like, what do you absolutely love? Are you interested in volunteering your time? Does that make you happiest? Are you devoted to your family? Are you creating something meaningful with work or within some organization where that is fueling your fire? Are you putting all your energy into yourself? What is it that makes you the happiest where you know that it's the best life that you're living? Those moments where you feel like nothing can replace them. You will always remember that happy exact moment for the rest of your life. That feeling, when is that happening? For me, it often happens when I see animals in nature. It happens when I read. It happens when I write. It happens when I'm talking on these podcasts. It happens when I'm at my meetups connecting with other people, which wasn't always the case. I used to hate going and talking to people. I hated going to events. I would be invited to parties by Jared or from other family members, and I would just be like, oh, do I have to go? I don't want to go. I'm not going to know anybody. Creating that negative outlook ahead of time then influenced that entire evening. So now I know that when I go to these meetups, I have no expectation. I'm just letting things roll as they roll and knowing I'm going to have a great time. Regardless of whatever happens, it's going to be an experience in itself. So figure out what makes you the happiest, and when it makes you feel that way, what is it that you're doing? What are you engaged in? Another question to think about, this is more of a reflection than question. Reflect on a specific time when you were acting in a way that felt natural and right. How can you repeat that behavior today? Not the action, not the location. I mean, if you can, that's great, but that's not always the case. So trying to apply this to every single day. How can you repeat that behavior right now? All right. So, when I see, animals outside in the yard, I literally stop everything that I'm doing and I am just fully engaged. So I can create more engagement in the things that I need to do today. Like, I have been running around doing a million things, trying to continue to grow the whole Lonely Souls community, and also support myself in terms of my mentality. So that feeling of engagement is really, really necessary for me to continue to push through the tough times when I feel like, okay, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, my brain is dead, it is out, knowing that staying engaged for the long term will be really beneficial for what I want to do. Another thing is that I'm just naturally happy in that moment. So being okay with whatever comes my way. There's no guarantee, there's no promise for even tomorrow or this next second of breath. There's no guarantee. So being very, very grateful for that exact moment is really important. The final question that she asks is, what are your signature strengths and how can you use them? What are the things that you're really, really good at versus what are things you want to be good at? Those are two different things. Your wants versus what you have can definitely point you in two different directions. When I started my paper flower art, I really, really wanted that to work. I really wanted it to work, I believe, more than it was going to work. Therefore, it lasted a lot longer than it might have needed to last. I'm glad I went through that whole process as long as it did, because you never know anything until you sacrifice and try, and I thought that it was going to work. I did learn, though, that I'm really good with detail-oriented things. I'm really good at multitasking. I'm really good at connecting the dots. I'm really good at, when I mean connecting the dots, I mean sharing my message in various ways on different platforms to reach people and also not feel crippled by something not working. So if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. I just learn from it and keep going and realize that there's a bigger purpose in what I'm trying to establish with all of this. I really want this community to continue to grow with support for each other and just provide perspective. That's the whole point, So really good at connecting the dots, really good at keeping track of everything, analyzing different things related to myself and my past and my current and how that can help everyone involved. So the biggest takeaway, I think, from this book so far of where I'm at is that you ultimately have the biggest job of figuring out who you are and being okay with the process of it unfolding. Everyone's process is different. You have to be willing with the time, but at the same time, you have to push yourself. It is not easy to just say, I'm going to be happy today. There's a lot of work involved in committing to a better version of yourself. Anything great is going to take time, and it's going to take a ton of energy, more energy than you've experienced in a lot of other areas of your life. So being patient with yourself, being okay with things as they unfold, and just working to be your best version is really, really, really important. So figuring out what that means to you, finding what matters, that's the goal. If you're vibing with these podcast episodes or would like to be on an episode, hit me up. I'm looking for guests to come on the show, talk about their similarities, their connection, and the overall feeling of growth through their loneliness. Feel free to hit the subscribe or follow button for whatever platform you're listening on if you want to stay in tune with these. More episodes are going to come out for sure this week. Because it is Thanksgiving week, that means that more friends and family time, but also lots of listening to things time. So good things coming your way. Whatever you're up to today, continue to stay consistent. Be patient with yourself. Good things are always coming. They're always coming. Wishing you well. Take care.